Hello, I'm Eric Warheit. I'm a product manager with Toyota Connected. Today we'll talk about new capabilities through platforms in the enterprise and ways to use product centric approaches to deliver. Let's begin. I've been working in technology for over 25 years across engineering, management, and product roles. I've worked in a number of domains creating perspective around the organization, as well as worked with different cultures of delivery. At Toyota Connected, we're working to transform Toyota from an automotive company to a mobility company through connected intelligent services. And I work with the data solutions team there to understand what's in the data so that we can improve our vehicles and our customer experiences. We currently have a really good problem. We've been delivering models that people value, and there's a 16x increase in demand of AI use cases. And so we have this situation of what's gotten us to where we are won't get us to where we want to go. And so we conceived of a platform, an enabler, something to help AI product time to market, something that could help us with getting to data faster, being able to explore that data and understand it so that the right models could be built and trained, deployed, and then we can assess and adapt the output of those models to improve outcomes. This is an MLOps platform. And MLOps is an extension of DevOps where the value chain thinking, automation, tooling, and feedback loops is applied to data science and machine learning to improve outcomes. And so we have MLOps, this big transformation is in our head, or at least in my head. I'm excited to bring the change and to get started. And so we do. And we discover some key gaps and opportunities. By starting with a solution first, we found we didn't understand enough about our customers. We also didn't appreciate the challenges associated with establishing a new capability where we didn't have experience in the MLOps area. And then for change, we recognized that the folks who are going to use our product might not be ready for that change or understand what that change means to them. So we need to solve for that. So let's start with the customer. Be specific. The word customer is general and it's easy to be confused about who you're talking about. Be specific, understand the specific problems, and connect with the specific needs. We want to narrow to the most relevant customer. Who owns the problem to solve? Who's going to have the direct benefit of the solution? And with whom do we have the maximum amount of influence? And so, across a complex stakeholder mix, we recognized our place to focus was our sponsors, the people who are funding the effort we were building and expecting outcomes in return, and the platform users, the folks who would be affected by this platform we were delivering and the practice that they would learn to take up as a result. When we spoke with the sponsors, we noticed common concerns are around dollars, deliverables, and dates. What benefit am I going to get? When am I going to get it? This is challenging to ask with an answer with a new capability. So we would ask questions to understand the problems that they were looking to solve and what their priorities were. We came to understand that having a large pool of data sets for us to explore quickly when AI use cases came about was a top priority. We wanted to eliminate that chunk of time from the exploration process. And so that's something that we took into our priority list based on that feedback. Next is the platform user. Their common concerns are a bit different. For them, they're focused more on the day to day. How will this thing work and how will it affect me? So we talk to them about how they work today and what's frustrating, what takes the most time, what's wasteful, and what have they tried to do to improve the situation. And we found that if we don't understand what's wasteful and if they haven't done something to improve the situation, the user we're talking to might shift to later adoption because they're not being active in trying to improve their situation. So we spoke to them and consistently we heard about data. And so we were building an MLOps platform, and the concern was data. How do we get access to data sets quickly so that folks can begin working quickly? And so we heard that feedback and we adapted our approach to make that a priority and pull forward the acquisition of data sets to support that work. We recognized in our conversations that folks didn't understand necessarily what a platform would do and wouldn't do, as well as what the team would and wouldn't do. There was an expectation that people from the platform team would work on the platform user team, and that's not something that we were designed for. There was also the expectation that the platform would set up the application monitors or the model monitors for how the models were doing. How accurate were they? Were they getting the feedback that they were looking to get? And we we recognize that that's something that the platform users, the folks building the models, would do. And so we needed to help folks understand that our success factors for the platform were building a generalized solution that could scale, something that was built for many to use at scale. This meant saying yes to the right value and no to the wrong value. So we can build certain things into the platform that ensure scale. And we need to make sure that we don't get too specific because that will undermine our ability to deliver at scale. And then this conversation helped us to see how the need for different skill sets were emerging in order to support MLOps. So we talked about shared responsibility and the success factors for scale and value and skills. And then we recognized that we needed to set expectations for timeframes and approach. With the new capability, we couldn't say exactly when it would deliver because we haven't done it before. We couldn't look to our past to predict our future. What we could do is we could start simple, or at least as simple as possible and no simpler, and small. And we could start with an internal group of folks to adopt our solution in order to de risk and get quick feedback with few dependencies. And so that's the journey that we set out on, working with the internal adoption candidates, helping them to get their value to production quickly, because if it's not in production, it's not done. And so we worked with them to solve for their use cases. And this helps us to build credibility so that when it's time to go to the enterprise, we're doing it with a proven solution that's known to work. And we want to be able to do that and then go through multiple waves of maturity as we start small and grow, small and grow. So with our customers, we noticed we wanted to narrow down to the relevant customers. This helped us to understand the problems that needed to be solved. We were able to see what expectations needed to be set in terms of what was on the platform side and what was on the user side, and then communicate about how we would go about rolling this out, how we would build the capability for our users as well as for our sponsors. For the new capability, we got caught up because we hadn't done this before in trying to know everything before we could do anything. And this was getting frustrating for planners who were trying to figure out when we could deliver. And so we started trying to plan what we couldn't know, which was also frustrating. We recognized we needed to come up with a product partnership, someone we could build something for in order for us to get direct feedback. And that's what we found. We found an engineer to work with who we could provide value to and get very quick feedback from. And that was a key enabler for us to be able to get out of our own way. We also got stuck in needing to have all of our governance capabilities in place in order to think about delivering anything. And we recognized that we could separate those two. We could build small and incrementally deliver, building, deploying, and demoing for feedback, but delay release so that we knew that we would be releasing securely. We pulled together as a team after trying to plan something into existence, which has never worked. We recognized we could let the team pull together, give them outcomes based on consumer problems that we got from talking to our customers, the platform users and sponsors. This helped them to mob and pair to build software. We let them know that good enough is good enough and that they could use the default settings generally and work with existing tool chains. We didn't need to chase perfection. And when we did that, we wanted to get feedback from the customer. We went from 2 months of frustration to 2 weeks of delivery with feedback and working software. We noticed also through this journey that we needed to decompose the practices of MLOps so that we could bring the right people on the team In the beginning, we were chasing a single person that would solve all our problems. And so we started differentiating between administrators and developers, admins typically building platforms, developers typically consuming those platforms, and seeing how they could work together to establish the practice of MLOps. We started looking at how we could accept good horses instead of waiting for unicorns. And in doing that, it allowed us to start conversations with our people department to start building the teams to support the long ranging capability. So, in summary, find that partner to build that new capability so that we can get quick feedback. Build and show something. Act as a team because nothing's ever been planned into existence, and learn the roles so that the roles can be recruited for and built within the teams in order to establish a sustainable capability. Next is change. We're making good progress. The team is moving. Customer interviews find that problem solution fit is looking pretty good. What do we do to move things forward? How do we get the dominoes to start falling? And so we recognized that we need to work with the willing. When it comes to change, there's a bell curve that shows who is or how many different people might be willing to change. And most people aren't. So find the people who are with the innovators. That's our product partner. And then work with them. Have them help with other migrations. Get people involved. We had a naming convention competition to help people name our product using the MLOps platform. And so they got hands-on experience, and we were able to then have a retrospective to get feedback on what that experience was so that we could improve the platform. Get a community going. We started doing continuous discovery through a tech lead forum, product team syncs, and user interviews. They're different audiences that offer different perspectives, and we can start figuring out what the timings are, for instance, with the product teams in terms of what they need. What data sets do they need? For a product owner, what do they expect? What about a machine learning engineer? We can start creating the personas to bring to the engineering teams so that it can solve problems for specific people in order to create value. Next is don't get too fast, don't go too far. Parity before maturity. We have a set of practices we do today that are painful. What are the things that we can do to reduce that pain and increase the sense of value? The most advanced yet acceptable solution where we have viable functions that accrue over time to maturity, but we meet people with where they are today so that they can go on a journey of maturity with us in a way that's safe, in a way that builds credibility and trust. And so, in summary, leading the change is about working with that willing, creating that community and being part of it and having an ongoing conversation, making the change acceptable so folks aren't afraid and folks don't resist. So, where are we in our journey? We've had dramatic improvements with deployment cycle time, eliminated the need for the AI teams to build and support their own infrastructure for serving their models. And we dramatically improved data discovery with a simple data catalog and dictionary that we were able to design by working directly with a consumer who said, "You're building too complex. I just need something simple." On the org and people side, we started working with the people ops team so we could recruit the right folks. Then the shared responsibility model helps us to communicate in terms of platform, and our team is thinking more in terms of product thinking. That's created buy-in and alignment. We have happier team and happier customers. So, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And so that's what we started to do, identifying problems so that we can solve it. So, with your customers, narrow them down, know their problems, set expectations, deliver, get feedback, adapt. With the capabilities, find a partner to work with, move forward with them, learn by doing, and then adapt. With change, find those innovators, build a community, start with the most advanced yet acceptable, and get feedback and adapt, because this is a journey of facing reality, learning what does work and what doesn't work, revising and changing our way to success. We're happy about where we're going at Toyota Connected with MLOps, and we're thankful to have told our story today. We'll be in the QA Slack channel. please join us for the next 15 minutes. Thank you.